It's time to break down some football.
We got to get our mind right. Touchdown, win.
From the perspective of guys who played in the NFL.
Caught, touchdown!
And a guy who had one really great sack in high school.
Oh, you're so weak. You're a waste of my time.
Greg Camarillo and Marcus McNeill are the pros, and Skraby is the Joe.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Two Pros and a Joe starts right now.
Probably like $100,000 in your career of late.
They were easy. They were like $1,500, $1,250, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
I'm like stunned right now.
You had it though. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah, it was all good. That's that high draft pick money.
Hey,
right?
I'm trying not to catch that 15 and above. You know what I'm saying? Anything above that, now I'm a little upset. You know what I'm saying?
So Skraby, just so you know how they format it, they start the day with a team meeting, right? So if you're late to a meeting, it's only what, like Max said, $1,200, $1,500. But if you miss the entire meeting, it skyrockets to like $5-10 grand or something.
Wow.
So they schedule a 10-minute team meeting. So if you're more than 10 minutes late, you get an aggressive fine. But if you can squeak in here 5-6 minutes late, you can be all right.
Yeah.
That is insane. Insane. Marcus being fined more than I make in a month, basically. But, that is crazy. I mean, the NFL has crazy fines for everything. So I didn't know that if you didn't show up on time, you get fined. But if you didn't show up at all, you get fined more. That's something I've just learned.
Yeah. Right.
All right. Well, we have already started the episode talking about Marcus getting fined. So this is episode number 46 of Two Pros and a Joe. And we have a very, very special guest here with us today. So we're going to get to him in just 1 second. Just got to tell everybody where to find us. twoprosandajoe.com, at Two Pros and a Joe on Twitter. You can find Greg Camarillo, 8 years in the NFL with the Chargers, Dolphins, Saints, and Vikings, at Catch Camarillo on Twitter. Marcus McNeill, 6 years with the Chargers at left tackle, at Marcus McNeill 73, and at M McNeill 73. And then me, I had one sack in high school, at Matt Skraby. So it's very good stuff. Very good stuff.
Great stuff.
I love dropping that on people because it's probably comes out of nowhere. They're like, what is this guy's claim to fame? He had one sack in high school. So that is me.
Where you going to high school at?
I went to high school at La Costa Canyon. So there was a quarterback, Kevin O'Connell. He's the Rams offensive coordinator or passing coordinator who he played on my high school team. So we usually get mentioned together in conversations when they talk about La Costa Canyon. Yeah. But without further ado, let's get him in here. Greg, you were the one who set this all up. Let's introduce our very special guest today.
All right, man. A fellow 2005 rookie class with the Chargers, one of the NFL greats as far as catching the ball, running the ball, returning the ball, number 6 on the all-purpose yards list. That's a hell of a accomplishment. This dude ran a long way with a football. Darren Sproles joins us on the podcast tonight.
What's going on, fellas?
Sproles, man, good to have you, man. Appreciate you joining us.
Thank y'all for having me on. I appreciate it.
Marcus takes personal credit for at least a third of those yards that you ran for.
Bro, at least a third.
But Big Mac. You remember we played the Colts that one game? Whatever. I had to have that chip. That man spun off me. Then he spun off you. I'm like, my goodness.
Freeney?
That was Freeney.
Freeney hit a double spin move off of both of you.
He spent and then spent off me, bro. All I could do is tell Phillip, throw it.
Did he get there? Did he get a sack?
No, he ain't bro.
Well, before we get into it, let's start with what you did last week, which was awesome. You were inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame, and one of the stat I was talking about is from their website. Only 0.02% of college football players and coaches can claim to be in the College Football Hall of Fame. So this is an incredible honor. What was it like last week being there? Because I know you went in with guys like Carson Palmer, my personal favorite, Harris Barton from the 49er days back. You know, he was a guard for the 49ers. What was it like last week to be inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame?
It was special, man. It was special to be up there, like with a lot of the greats. Like I was going to college, like you would have never thought, like, you know what I'm saying? Like you would have done what you done, like to get there. But for me being there, with all the greats, man, it was truly an honor though.
Yeah, I bet. Definitely.
Where is it? Is it in Atlanta that they hold it?
See, they normally have it in New York. They normally have it in New York, but this year they had 2 classes this year, so they had it in Vegas.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, that's easier travel for you, I guess, right?
Yeah, it was.
Bro, is anyone there or already in the Hall of Fame that you looked at for inspiration? Like, like one day I could be like that.
I always like when I was in college, I always liked LT. Like that was my, you know what I'm saying? That's who I liked.
Yeah.
And then when I got drafted to the Chargers, like you talking about special, like I watched his every move.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good person to be drafted, or a good team to be drafted with. Good running back to look up to. Jeez,
and a good transition. So we had the Chargers alumni weekend this last weekend, so I got a chance to go to some Chargers events, reconnect with guys like Sproles, and I'm sitting there at the game at the cocktail party the night before, and there's LT, and then there's Michael Turner, and there's Darren Sproles, and I'm like, how in the fuck did all 3 of these dudes end up in one backfield together? Well, I mean, what were you thinking early on in your career, sitting behind a future Hall of Famer, another Pro Bowler? Like, what did that do for you?
And man, like you had no choice but to learn. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you had and not just them, whatever. We had Lorenzo Neal was in there too. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it was like we
hell of a room. That's a fun room. Yeah.
So they really showed me, you know what I'm saying, like how to be a pro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that's when I learned it.
That's really important, I think, is learning how to be a pro. In all the time that I've done sports talk radio and work with athletes and all this other stuff, they always bring up the fact that you have to learn how to be a pro. Like sometimes, people know how to do it or whatever, but that's got to be such a different change from being in college and then going to play professional football, where now you're expected to be on time and you're not going to get fined like Marcus usually does.
Right.
And like that, and not only that, but also you were probably coming out of college, even though you had these great numbers and you were a really, really talented college football player. A lot of teams probably looked at you and said, maybe he's too small, or maybe he's too slow, or whatever. I don't even know, but you have to overcome a lot to get from the college level to the pro level. Was that something that that came easy to you, or was that something that was difficult for you to figure out?
No, you had to work for it, but it's like my whole career, I had to battle like the size thing. But my whole thing was once I get my shot, I really need to make them forget about my size. Like that's what I tried to do. But
and you did.
But
I don't think they forgot. They just missed the tackle and turned around. And like,
yeah,
damn,
like, oh man,
bastard.
But I never told this story before though, but this so right after my rookie season, whatever, we have the exit meetings and stuff like that. So I had a running back coach, Clarence Shellman.
Yeah, Coach Shell.
But so he told me at my size, whatever, that I wouldn't be able to play running back in this league. But so I wrote it down. You know what I'm saying? I wrote that down and that was my motivation. That was my that's what I need to hear though. I need to hear that for me to keep on grinding.
Absolutely. You need some fire, and he provided that for you.
Was that the first time you had heard that? Or it was just that was the first time that really lit that fire.
That was the first time somebody had said that shit to my face. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
wow,
yeah. But so I'm like, dang, but you know
hit
what?
him back lately? Have you texted him like in the last couple years? Like,
nah,
coach,
but
worked out
but
fine.
you know what? Like, I thank him for that though. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that helped me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Can I admit something right now?
Go ahead. Let it out. Let it out, Big Mike.
Darren Sproles bench presses more than I do. And
wow.
He absolutely squats more than I did.
Dang.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, let's not pretend like just, not being the tallest running back in the world means you're not strong.
Hey, man, this man is like the strongest person in the weight room. That's what people don't realize. His size, it's like he's so compact and strong and fast at the same time. Like, you probably thinking it's going to be an easy tackle, but when you run up on him, I seen him bench press. I seen him. I'm like, how you doing all that?
So you got your nickname tattooed on your arm, right?
Yeah.
All right. His nickname is Tank. You got it from birth, right? You were big. Something happened with you.
So I was born 10 pounds, 3 ounces.
Oh my goodness.
And and then that's my dad. He nicknamed me Tank.
Yeah. And
like
so when
me.
you see him in the weight room with a sleeveless shirt on and it says Tank, you don't really question it. You're just like, oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Well, I'm looking at your combine scores right now, and it says that you did 23 reps of the bench press.
How many you get, Mac?
I didn't do it.
Me neither.
I wasn't about to embarrass myself. Like, come on, man. You see how long these runs are? Like, I got.
Yeah.
They need to count one.
Bros did all 23 of those reps before you could get one up.
That's what I'm saying. Like, one rep for me needed to be 3. It needs to count as 3. You know what I'm saying?
You also played.
But my thing was, you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't have the size, like, you know what I'm saying? So I had to like score like big, like, you know what I'm saying? But like with all my drills and everything, like to even get a chance.
Yeah. I will say that Sproles is probably the hardest working like running backs I've ever seen. You know what I'm saying? Like dedicated in the weight room. Like he said, in the drills, he's going 100%, and you can see it in the running back room. You know what I'm saying? You see LT, you see Mike, and then you see Sproles. You feel me? And it's like no fall off. You know what I'm saying? It's like which way you want it.
Looking back over your career, you made a name for yourself with the Chargers. Your probably most productive years, I'm guessing, were with the Saints. You got a Super Bowl with the Eagles. If you retired and they said Sproles and attached you to one team, what is that one team and why?
Oh, that's a good question.
It had to be the Eagles. The Eagles, really? They was good to me, man.
Yeah.
And then that's where I got my Pro Bowls there. Like,
you didn't have Pro Bowls with the Saints?
I see. I was always a dang on the first alternate. Yeah.
To who?
Like with the Chargers, like to damn Hester. Like that's how I was. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then when I went to Chargers,
that's fair.
So I went to Chargers. I was always the alternate, like with Cribbs or with Dante Hall. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was tough.
You telling me I had to try to tackle those fuckers? I know.
That's it. I did not expect for you to say the Eagles, but it makes sense. And I was reading an article earlier, because that whole season, the Eagles season where they won the Super Bowl, is one of those seasons that I could read about all the time, just because it was so weird and random how it happened. And you have Carson Wentz as a rookie, he gets hurt, he goes out for the year. The Eagles at that time are rolling. You have Nick Foles who steps in. Big Dick Nick, as everybody likes to call him now. But
Bro's got an extra laugh. He's been in the locker room with him.
Man, you gotta see.
But I just want to know, like, inside that locker room, when Carson Wentz goes down, is there the belief that Nick Foles can take you guys to beat Tom Brady in the Super Bowl? Or was it kind of a shell shock moment of like, crap, like our season may take a turn that we did not expect?
No, because we knew what we had. we changed the whole offense too. Like to fit like Nick. Like he want the ball out quick. And that's what we went to.
Got to, right? You got to.
Yeah.
You got to go. I can't remember who said it. There's a coach who said, it's not my job to make the quarterback better. It's my job to make the quarterback more comfortable.
Right.
And I can't remember who said that. Words of wisdom.
Sound like can you give us insight on Carson Wentz though, just a little bit, like because we give him hell on this show.
What you want to know?
No, look.
Like, is he that guy? Is he that guy, or is he just like how is he as a quarterback? Because like he seems like he can't get right every time I see him.
You know what? Carson's a great guy.
Enough said. Thank you.
Yeah. but if you stay with the RPOs and stuff like that with him, like he a great quarterback, you know what I'm saying? But when you when you go to that play action that like old school type offense, that ain't him. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
I'll just tell this story real quick because I know you're not going to say anything bad about Carson Wentz because you're a very nice guy. And we're not asking you to say anything bad. I don't know why I'm making this weird. But when I was in Minnesota for Radio Row, I was at dinner with Nick Hardwick and some other guys, and we were in the Eagles hotel. Somehow Nick Hardwick had finagled us into the Eagles restaurant. And so we're sitting there and Nick Foles comes walking down the hallway, and I see just a gaggle of players around him, just talking to him. You know, they were discussing whatever they were discussing in the meeting rooms. And then you got Carson Wentz on his crutches down the hall. And the poor guy was getting no help with the crutches. He was crutching and he had like the playbook in one hand. He had like his food in another hand. And that told me all I need to know is that people gravitate towards people that are warm and inviting. And I'm not trying to say that Carson Wentz is not, because I've never met him like that, but that did tell me a lot about it. And I wasn't surprised to see that the Eagles won the Super Bowl on the back of Nick Foles after I saw all that.
Yeah. But I just think too, like he had to warm up like a little bit. Like he came from South Dakota, like a small town, whatever. Then he came to Philly, like
true.
He just had to get used to, he just had to get used to people, I feel like. But he did though, so I guess
yeah, he's handling it now.
It's a rough place to be introduced to people too.
Yeah.
Especially when they're throwing snowballs at Santa Claus.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I always felt like it was like he just kind of like just had that awkwardness a little bit that kind of portrayed to me. So it's not so much his like physical ability sometimes. It's just like how he looks, you know what I'm saying? Like with the team and stuff like that. It might not even be his play, you know, it's like your personality, like you said, like that warmth and being able to talk to guys and kick it and relate to people. I just didn't really see that. And coming from teams like, you know, especially in San Diego with Phillip, you know what I'm saying? Phillip can have a conversation with anybody.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you could just tell, I felt like it was a little bit of a disconnect there. And I mean, he's a good enough player. He almost won MVP one year, so he got to have something, you know.
Yeah.
Bros, I got some questions for you. Specific questions, not necessarily about your career, but your opinion. Is Devin Hester a Hall of Famer? Should he have a bust?
Yes.
All right, outstanding. I 100% agree with you. And so something we've talked about on this podcast. What do you do with running backs these days? So we've seen only a few guys strike gold with free agent contracts or being high draft picks because running backs get hurt so often. So can you have an every down back, or how do you approach running backs in the NFL today?
Like, I feel like, tell you the truth, that every day, the every down back days, that's over with. Like you gotta have two. Why? You gotta have two, like to you kind of gotta keep them healthy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like a good, like maybe a good like pounder. Then you gotta have a scat back. Like you gotta have two to keep them right.
Like a Nick Chubb and a Kareem Hunt.
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
Like a Nick Chubb and a Kareem Hunt. Sorry, I'm talking over you, Greg. Go ahead, Greg. Go for it, Greg.
Where was your best duo? So if you weren't the pounder, you were the pass catching quicker dude.
Slasher, yep.
Yeah. Who were you paired with where you had the best duo?
Man, like I had two. I was with LT, of course.
Yeah.
And then with the Saints. But the Saints, shit, we had 3 or 4.
Who were they?
Shit, we had Mark Ingram, Pierre Thomas, me, and then it was Chris Ivory.
Oh yeah,
he did.
Man, these names just like you forget like how many people have played in the NFL, and you hear these names and you're like, oh yeah, I remember those guys, and that was only like I don't know 5 years ago.
But and then when I went to Philly, I had LaShawn McCoy. So that was
how did that work?
Yeah.
You both have a pass catching scat skill back.
Yeah, but he if he needs to pound it, he can get it done. Yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? So, but it was a good, like, I loved it because it was the offense was spread out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The Chip Kelly type offense, like everybody was spread out and it was holes everywhere. So it was.
Talk about Chip Kelly. Yeah, talk about Chip Kelly a little bit because he had that success in the first year. Are you guys even, I believe, made the playoffs? Or no, you were there. No. You were there the year after they made the playoffs. You beat them, right? With the Saints,
right?
You beat the Eagles.
Yeah.
But when you went to Philadelphia and you played under Chip Kelly, like what was kind of your thoughts about that whole thing? Because, like I said, he did have a really great start to his coaching career, and then for some reason he just never really caught on in the NFL. And he's back in college and he's successful in college. But I'm just wondering what's the difference between Chip Kelly, the NFL coach, and Chip Kelly, the college football coach?
Like I love Chip. Like I just feel like with the NFL, like you're not just gonna tell like anybody like what to do. Like they need to know why. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, why are we doing this type?
Gotcha.
But like if you really like listen to him, and you like seeing what he was doing, like you would have loved it. But it was so much like people just wanted to know why. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, I get it. If my boss tells me to do something, I want to know why.
Why?
Chip wouldn't tell people why?
No, not really. Like it was more of the sports science guys.
Yeah.
Those were the ones like those were the guys that was like running the team kind of much. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I love the schedule. Like my body felt great. Like,
yeah. So, I mean, just to fill everyone in on the schedule, every other team that I've ever known had Tuesday as the team day off. But tell us the Philly schedule.
So with Chip, it was Monday was off. Tuesdays was you had to come in, lift. He had like a little run through practice, whatever.
Yeah.
Wednesdays and Thursdays, those were your grind days. But you was in the building at 9 and you was out the building at 5 o'clock every day. Like
9 a.m. Like, Marcus can make that.
Like camp. Hey, Greg. Like camp, it wasn't really camp. Like we was in there at 9 o'clock and we was out of there at 5.
Done. Like all done.
Done.
Wow.
So then on Fridays,
I love Chip Kelly too.
Man, I loved it. And then on Fridays was no sweat Fridays. Like you couldn't run. Like you had to point. point like to what you had. But on Saturdays was like a run through. A lot of people didn't like that, but but like on Sundays, I felt great. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And this is all
so the science behind it was good to me.
Yeah. Wow. I like Chip Kelly. Officially a fan.
Bro, what was the hardest transition you had between the three teams? Was it going from San Diego out to New Orleans or from New Orleans to Philly?
The toughest transition was going from San Diego to New Orleans.
Probably because the language. Sean Payton has like a brand new language or something.
But you knew. I mean, you've been with Drew.
Not even that though. Like, not even that. Like going from sunny San Diego, clean. And when you get off the plane to New Orleans, you're going down airline drive.
Say no more. Oh man.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
That humidity. Oh man. So when I was with you in New Orleans, we had one afternoon off. I went to the driving range right there in Metairie. Like, it's literally on the swamp. I had to stop golfing because these bird-sized mosquitoes were tearing my ass up. It is a whole nother world, man.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But the thing is, once I got there though, I love that shit though. I love it.
Yeah. I can see that. That's dope.
So let's get into, actually, you know what? Before we get into that, I want to talk about, Greg and I were talking about this before everybody jumped on, but the punt return has been lost in the NFL. And the first actual punt return this season happened on Sunday Night Football, week 14. And you are very good at punt returns. You're very good at kick returns as well. So you're like the last real return specialist. Why? I mean, is there anything you could see in the game now that people can take advantage of when trying to return punts or trying to return kicks? Because they've made it so touchback friendly that it's just not there anymore. No one's trying it because it just doesn't make sense.
First punt return for a touchdown this week.
Yeah, punt return. Yeah, sorry.
Punt return. Yeah. So with the kickoff returns, it's hard now because they took away the wedge. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, like it. But teams are pretty much saying down it. Let's get the ball wherever they put it at. But yeah, but like with the punt return now, the punters now, they really good now. So it's so they really can like do some things with this ball now. It's gonna make it hard for punt returners back there.
Talking about hang time or placement or all of
hang
that?
Time, ball placement, like
Spin.
They kicking this little funny ball now, like where it's like a little floater, like yeah.
Talking about the Aussie kick, the backwards one?
Not the Aussie one. They still do the Aussie one.
Yeah.
But like they kick this ball, like the ball go up, but it's like a floater. Like it don't turn over, it don't spin, like
the knuckleball.
Oh, it's
like it floats.
Kick a knuckleball.
Oh,
yeah.
Shit.
Oh yeah.
That sounds gross.
That's
so it's like a little like so you really gotta concentrate on the ball a little bit more.
Yeah, that's the last thing I would want to do. Number one, last thing I want to do is be a punt returner in the NFL. I mean, more power to you, because that is a scary position. I'm sure you've been blown up a few times, and every time I see that, I'm like, why do those guys volunteer to be punt returners? Because it looks terrible and terrifying and all of that stuff at the same time. So,
but like that's the you know how you can change the game though, like with a punt return, like.
Absolutely.
That's that rush, though. You know what I'm saying? That's that rush that you, yeah.
Hey, ain't nothing better to a fat man sitting on the bench.
Marcus is like, he gets his helmet, he sees the punt return, he's like, back
on
later.
Go.
And you just
the biggest high fives.
Oh man. All right, we're gonna get into some of the current events, but I just gotta stop down and say, everybody out there, please review us on Apple Podcasts. Our stats are saying that most of you listen using Apple Podcasts. We've had some great reviews. We have 5 stars, so please give us a rating, leave a comment, tell a friend, share it on social media, follow us, all that good stuff. But thanks to those that have reviewed our podcast and rated our podcast. It's all on Apple Podcasts. All right, so Urban Meyer, Jaguars head coach, he's been the laughing stock of the NFL right now all season long, especially with fans. And now things are getting really bad because there are receivers. Marvin Jones, apparently a rumor was saying that he left practice because Urban Meyer was so publicly critical of him. People had to chase him down in the parking lot. During a staff meeting, apparently he called his assistant coaches losers, but he said he didn't call them losers, but that term came from somewhere. So I'm assuming that it's someone who was called a loser. But Urban Meyer and their whole 2-11 start, it's just not getting any better. I mean, what are you seeing, Sproles, about what's going on down there in Jacksonville? And as a player, how can you keep playing for someone that you're not in full support of?
It's a mess down there in Jacksonville right now. But like with Urban Meyer, I feel like he's trying to do the same stuff that like he did in college. He's trying to do it in the NFL, and as he can see, like it ain't working. Like he gonna have to try a different way.
What do you think, Marcus?
Hey, quick question before I answer though. Greg, was Nick Saban down there with you?
I came the year after.
Okay.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, but people hated him for the same thing. I think Urban Meyer. They got stories of just despising him.
Yeah,
wow.
I just think it's one of those situations where it's just about time for Urban Meyer to be like, "Hey, I'm better on the college scene than I am on the NFL scene." And then I don't even know if he's gonna make it on the college scene because they got the transfer portal now. So
right.
You talking too crazy, they gonna throw the deuces to you.
But Marcus, what would you do if you had a coach that you weren't vibing with and the team wasn't vibing with and how do you? They still have 4 games left. Trevor Lawrence is looking bad. He's also now speaking out saying that we need James Robinson to play. He's publicly talking about things that the coaches said that he's not going to do. And Shad Khan is saying, "Oh, I've met with Urban Meyer. We're on the right path." Shad Khan is looking like an idiot right now. I mean, come on. We all know that. But what would you do, Marcus? Is there anything you can do?
No, you play to get some money. You know what I'm saying? Like you going out there every day knowing that you got to play, because if you don't play and show your ass, then your ass can be grass. You know what I'm saying? Like they can wreck shop and cut house. So you got to go out there and perform regardless of what the coach doing. You know what I'm saying? Like regardless of what the coach doing, you got to come out there. I didn't really mesh well at first with Norv Turner. You know what I'm saying? I don't really think our team really meshed well with Norv when he first came in, because I think Norv spent that first year just talking to Phillip, you know what I'm saying, about the offense. And he didn't really have that same type of personality that Marty had, where Marty was checking on all his players, you know what I mean? So being a young player with Marty and knowing that I had a rapport with my head coach, it made me want to play harder for him. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
So when Norv came in and I barely talked to him that first year, you know what I'm saying, because he was so engulfed in the offense, like it kind of threw me off a little bit. But at the same time, I just saw Marty get fired from a 14-2 season. So I ain't really got too much time to be resting on my morals. I got to go out there and play. You know what I'm saying? Because if you get cut 14-2, I'm pretty sure you can cut a left tackle for less. You know
joke. No joke. Greg?
You know what? That came up this weekend. We were talking about coaches in the Chargers, and Marty had mutual respect from pretty much everybody that was in that discussion. Offense, defense, old, young. Marty Schottenheimer, man, that dude, that was a real one right there.
Yeah.
You guys have always talked really, really highly of Marty Schottenheimer, and really anybody I've ever talked to about Marty Schottenheimer has said really nice things about him. Let's go. Well, Urban Meyer, we've been talking about him all year.
It's a wrap, man.
We'll get to his firing later in the offseason or something.
Yeah,
like that.
but the thing about like Urban though, when he got in trouble earlier this season, whatever, like
the lap dance.
Yeah,
like what? But like what head coach though does not travel back with a team? You know what I'm saying?
Unreal.
Yeah.
How are you gonna do that? Oh my God, that shit blew my mind.
And it was after a loss.
I couldn't believe it. I thought maybe he flew back to Jacksonville and then caught another flight.
Me too. Right.
This dude just didn't get on the plane. Oh man.
Can you imagine? Like, and I'm sure that he didn't tell anyone he wasn't coming home because that's just his style. He just does things. And can you imagine you guys all getting on the plane after a loss and you're all hurt and Trevor Lawrence is beat up and you're like, where the hell is our coach? He's not on the plane.
Man. Yeah, it was a wrap from that moment forward. That was it.
I'm just gonna think he's on the owner's plane. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause I know head coaches do that from time to time. You know, like they might not ride back with the team. If the owner has a private plane, they might.
Where they do that at?
I feel like Norv Marty rolled back on the plane a couple times with he wasn't always on that plane.
Norv was always with us.
No, well, maybe I ain't sit that close to the front. Put my black ass at the back of the bus.
Marcus, were you ever late for your flight home?
Oh yeah, not the flight home because we coming straight for the game. So it's
you were kind of locked in.
Yeah, I was locked in. I wasn't late for the funniest late story I had was when I got drafted. I get drafted. So we had a block party that night. You know how it was.
You're at home.
Yeah, I'm in the A. I had a block party in the hood. We go out that night. I think it might have been 112 Visions back then. Something like always popping. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So I'm so toe up. I ended up getting in at 6. My flight is at 7:50 or something. I'm like, well, I'm just gonna lay down for 15 minutes to close my eyes.
That never works.
I woke up. It's 10 o'clock. It's 10 o'clock in the morning.
Oh my goodness.
Wait, so you were on the flight to get to San Diego? That was supposed to be the flight.
That was supposed to be the flight to San Diego for the press day and all that.
They got media lined up. Cameras lined up,
everything.
Damn.
Like I woke up like, I'm like, damn, like what am I gonna do? I'm like, it's Sunday. I'm just gonna go to church. You know what I'm saying? like I was like, Mom, just tell them I went to church. I called them up on the phone, like, hey, my baby's at church, you know what I'm saying? We celebrate with the Lord first, and then I'll send them out there to you. And then they were like, all right, you know what I'm saying? We'll rebook his flight. And we'll just do everything later. So I missed the first couple pictures, but then I was able to get there later on because, of course, we're on West Coast time. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
And still get a little bit of.
They believe that. They were cool with that reasoning. They didn't question it at all.
Bro, my mama got on the phone. Hey, listen, my son going to the church this morning. You know what I'm saying? He'll be on the first flight after that, but we gotta thank the man who got him there, you know what I'm saying? And they were like, hey, we respect that. Go on about your business. But
that was well played, man.
It was.
Yeah, but before I went to church, you know what I'm saying, it was a lot of heathenism going on. You know what I'm saying? A lot of Hennessy.
You had to cleanse your soul before you got on that plane.
I needed some holy water thrown on my ass or something.
Who was the first round pick that year? Was that Cromartie?
Crow
won it?
So are there pictures of just Crow by himself waiting on his second round pick?
No, Charlie Whitehurst was there, so they had the first and third, you know what I'm saying? So I think we took that picture later on, like the actual like 1, 2, 3 picture, like we took it later on.
Once you stop smelling like Hennessy.
Hey, I don't think I ever stopped smelling like him.
Mac loves it. Yeah, that's all we know.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Oh, that's hilarious. I love that story. A couple more stories about what's going on in the NFL right now. And the NFL has a huge COVID problem that's breaking out as we speak. Adam Schefter tweeted out earlier today that yesterday 37 positive COVID tests happened. Today was 25 earlier. And I'm seeing upwards of just a total of 70 players now are being affected by COVID. The Rams put 10 players on, including Odell Beckham Jr. The Washington football team put a bunch of people on. The Browns put a bunch of people on there. So this is going to affect a team in the playoff run. There's going to be one of the teams that's going to be the odd person out, odd team out. And the NFL even said themselves, we are going to make teams forfeit if you cannot field a team. So there's no postponing these games. But can you imagine the Rams and the Seahawks playing this weekend? Rams have those 11 players on the COVID list, and they get more, say. They're not going to actually have them forfeit a game. The Rams, that would be crazy. The Rams are one of the top seeds in the NFL right now.
Man.
Yeah, how happy are they that they played on Thursday and now they got they played last night and now they got everybody testing positive.
Right.
If they had that problem yesterday, they would have lost.
Yeah, but my thing is, what I think teams gonna do in the playoffs, whatever, they probably gonna tell their team like, y'all can't go out. Like y'all gonna have to, you know what I'm saying? Like
training camp mode.
Yeah, like ride this out.
Yeah.
Hotel or just like at the house?
At the house. Like
I can't.
Y'all can't, yeah.
I can think of one coach and one team that's actually gonna work with.
New England.
Yeah. That's exactly right.
Yep.
They're gonna be the healthiest team in all the NFL.
Bro, it ain't no way around it though, unless they put their ass in a bubble like they did the NBA, bro. It's no way to really keep it, you know what I'm saying, people from getting contaminated. Like you still go to the store, you still go out, half the people ain't got on no mask, you know what I'm saying? Like it's still here, you know what I mean? So like only thing I could really see if the NFL was serious, like just shut it down. Like, hey, we got Jerry World over here, you know what I'm saying? Let's bust everybody in here, keep y'all at a hotel during the playoffs, you know what I'm saying? And y'all play. And that's the only way you can guarantee you probably when nobody gets sick because you kind of quarantine them. You know what I mean? Like it worked with the NBA.
Yeah. I mean, it did work with the NBA. They also have like 12 players on their team.
Right.
And dudes are making way more money.
And LeBron's up there doing podcasts, sipping on wine in between the NBA games.
In Miami, the one time we actually had a good season, we had too many guys showing up hungover on Saturday. So the Coach Sproles gave us a hard rule. You are not to be caught out past midnight on a Friday night. And it just happened to be, he made that rule on like a Wednesday or a Thursday. My brother had already arranged for us to be having a party at the club that Friday night. Sure enough, my ass was out of there at 11:55 because I wasn't fucking around. Like Coach Mac said, or like Big Mac said, everybody else stayed. You can't, like, nobody wants to listen to that. Nobody, especially if you got a guaranteed contract. Man, I'm a grown man. I'm gonna be in the club.
Yeah,
I was a kid. I was at home.
Hey, that makes sense. That makes sense, though. You don't want to mess with your chance in the NFL at all.
No, I was good. I'm good. I'm gonna go home.
All right. Thanks again for Darren Sproles joining us here. We're gonna do our last segment, which is the fuck, which is just different things around the NFL that we find really funny and stupid. And so we'll go through some of these real quick and get you guys' thoughts. But the first one has to be Chase Claypool being Chase Claypool. I mean, if there was a story made for this segment, it would be this story of Chase Claypool. So on Thursday night, 4th and 1, Steelers convert under a minute to go, no timeouts, and Chase Claypool converts at the first down, and then he gets on a knee and he does this like first down signal, all slow and dramatic and everything, and then his teammate comes up to him and is like, dude, we got to get the ball going because he lost 14 seconds of time. Then after the game, he said that it was the lineman's fault for knocking the ball out of his hand, and that's why it squirted away, and that's why they lost all the time. But basically, they asked Ben Roethlisberger after the game, what are you going to do about this in a nutshell? And Ben was like, not my job. Put it on Coach Tomlin. They asked Mike Tomlin, did you guys talk about this? He got benched in the first quarter. Did you guys know that? Chase Claypool was already benched in the game in the first quarter for a personal foul. And they said, do you think he got the message? And Mike Tomlin said, we'll see, which doesn't bode well for Chase Claypool. But I'm curious to get your guys' thoughts. Let's start with you, Sproles, about Chase Claypool. Like, what would you think? He was just celebrating. and when he shouldn't have. The team didn't have any timeouts. He wasted 14 seconds. He's blaming other players. It seems like a big mess.
So Scrapes, that's where my problem. That's where he gets it to fuck.
The blaming.
I mean, receivers are divas. We like to sell, especially a fourth and one. We like to celebrate. We like to let everybody know we just got a first down.
Oh, you definitely let everybody know.
And he's youngish, right? Second year.
Second year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, players fuck up. It happens. It's when you start blaming other people. With it, that's my problem, man. Like, okay, you made a mistake. I learned from my mistake. Let's move on. But I tell you what, there's one coach I wouldn't fuck around with COVID. That's Belichick. I wouldn't fuck around with a Mike Tomlin locker room either. That dude means business.
Yeah. Mike Tomlin means business. So I don't know why Clay is tripping like that, but it always goes back to one fact in football.
Uh-oh.
Wide receivers have self-destruct buttons. Like, it doesn't matter how good you are, they can find a way. I've never seen one group of players fuck it up the way they have. You know what I'm saying? They go from sugar to shit all the time. And like, we can go down the list, you know what I'm saying? From Dez Bryant.
They don't get out of bounds on time.
Hey, relax, guys, relax. Come on.
Man, these receivers, they just suck.
I can't really defend. I can't. Oh, but hold on. Let me defend. Did you watch, let's see, last night, OBJ caught a ball late on, it was a screen pass.
He went backwards.
He ran out of bounds backwards, knowing that would keep the clock running.
Had no idea that was the rule.
Save the day. Oh, yeah. They make it very clear. It's just hard to think that quickly on the go. Like, he clearly knows his shit and ran. That shit was great. But yeah, I can't defend the rest of the receivers.
Stafford didn't know, though, I don't think.
No,
he was pissed. Did you see that? He was pissed.
Yeah. What is he doing?
Because OBJ had already lined up wrong once. Yeah.
Right.
Stafford was pissed. Yeah.
So Chase Claypool being Chase Claypool, last thing on that, it was really hilarious to see all the memes the next day. It was like Chase Claypool waking up for work today, and it was like a video of Footloose of him dancing around and all this other stuff. He took a beating. I'm gonna say he took a beating.
You should.
The other fuck is the Raiders. They went to Kansas City. They held a little dance party on the Chiefs logo.
Oh man.
And
that's what they ass get though.
Yeah.
Promptly got beat 48-9 by the Chiefs. I mean, the Chiefs, it wasn't even close. It was like 28-0 in the middle of the second quarter. I mean, the fuck are you thinking, Raiders? You're giving the Chiefs some firepower? Like, geez, man.
Has it ever worked? Like, has anyone ever danced on a logo and that actually like motivated the team?
No.
T.O. went to the T.O.
Oh, that shit was awesome.
T.O. went to the where he went to the
they lost though, didn't they?
He went to the Star.
To the Star.
Great.
Did they win or lose?
That's a great question.
That's too far. I'm gonna have to go look that one up.
They probably lost.
You were a Niner fan, Scrapes? Come on.
I mean, remember the moment like it was yesterday.
Oh no, but that shit was awesome.
It was awesome. But yeah, like Sproles said, I mean, does that ever work? Dancing on someone's logo? Like, who are you really trying to fool that you're trying to like get all pumped up with that? Anyway.
But that's all right. But what I tell people all the time, they're always going to be the Raiders. They always going to fuck it up. So somehow they're going to fuck it up.
They're going to find a way to fuck it up.
Look at their year, and I won't go down the list of what happened this year to the Raiders.
Right.
So. All right. That's it for Two Pros and a Joe. Thank you so much for joining us on the podcast today. I appreciate you.
Thanks for having me on. I appreciate y'all.
Hey, boy, I miss you. Boy, where you been, boy?
Hey, Big Mac, man. Why you not come up there, man?
Bro, to be honest, I was supposed to, man. I by Sunday got around, boy.
He was late.
He was at church.
I could not make that drive. and then I'm going up there on Thursday too. So I was like, you know,
for the game?
A little Chiefs action.
Yeah, a little Chiefs action.
Hold on, I got to talk about the stadium. Have you been to the stadium, Big Mac?
Yeah, I went in the beginning of the preseason. I haven't been back since though.
First of all,
man, that thing crazy.
It's a spectacle. It's like Disneyland of football mixed with a Vegas casino. But I had a hard time focusing on the football. There's like a million screens, a million flashing lights. Like, it's hard to actually watch.
Now that you say that, I went to the San Fran game and I don't think I watched the damn. I was back there eating sandwiches.
Marcus is like playing video games somewhere. He doesn't even know where he got it.
Checking out the culinary options.
But well, thanks again, Darren, for joining us. I know Greg told you 30, but we kept you a little bit longer. You were just really interesting to talk to. Hopefully we can have you again sometime in the future, but I really appreciate you joining us.
Thank y'all. I appreciate it.
Appreciate you, Sproles.
That's it. Everything else, twoprosandajoe.com. Marcus, what you got?
I was going to tell Darren, hey, make sure you share the episode, bro. You got them followers now, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. You got that digital follower.
I'm trying to get a couple.